Going back just to the overall design, we have that black toe box with that crimson tint, we'll call it light pink upper, black on black with the midfoot and the quarter panel. This type of color blocking is more akin to the band ones where they kind of go tone on tone on tone with the toe, the quarter, and the midfoot panel. But the color really pops again towards the heel. You have the pink heel, you have the pink collar, and of course you have the pink swoosh. And because this leather is that smooth flat leather, it just shows you that it might have worked a little bit better with the smooth leather rather than the tumbled, but again, that's just our opinion. Flip it over to the other side, you see much of the same. If you're a fan of the band one or that band one type of color blocking, then these are sort of a can't miss shoe. It's a really great color, looks great on feet. Full crimson tint pink on the sole. Clean white, it's not like a sail or like a pure platinum, it's just your classic white, which again is true to the OG. Quick shot of the tongue, you got that nice black on black laces with the nylon tongue, your classic Nike Air tongue label. This is where things get a little bit interesting. The shoes come with not only the pink, but there's teal lace tips and
To be fair though, it does seem like a lot more people wanted the pine green colorway than the court purple colorway, so in that sense, it's a good thing because the people who wanted the pine greens actually had a much better chance than if they wanted the court. Most Air Jordan 1s, you've got your black glossy Air Jordan Wings logo debossed into this green panel. Then moving around to one of my favorite parts of the sneaker, the back. I love the heel of Air Jordan 1s because this is where all the different parts of the shoe come together and all the different colors come together. And it's sort of like the black toe ones, except rather than having a white toe or a toe that matches the midfoot, it actually has one of its brighter. Sections are okay, they've got this light tumble texture. It's very similar to what you see on the bread toe ones. It's relatively soft. They are similar tones, but they separate themselves really nicely because of the hue of the color. As you continue up on the shoe, you get to these flat black laces that weave through another smooth leather panel with punched out eyelets. The black laces are the ones that come pre-start people, but for me, as a huge Air Jordan 1 fan and as a Ravens fan, this is like my perfect shoe. Wave runner. Right off the bat, the aesthetic of the shoe is completely different. This light gray color can be seen throughout the shoe. It's sort of bounces. For this pair of sneakers at a store near me so I could review them. They actually stitched it into the Prime Knit itself. To my knowledge, I don't think Adidas has ever done anything like this on the Prime Knit upper way. There is sort of a downside to this method, however, and that's because the pattern itself is actually stitched in as if your grandmother was stitching a quilt. The pattern doesn't really have any smooth edges. It almost looks like you're looking. Noticed about this Prime Knit is that the texture and the feel of the Prime Knit looks exactly the same all the way around. It's just a smooth, flat Prime Knit that runs all the way around. Unsurprisingly, the Bape Adidas Ultra Boost fits just like any other Ultra Boost. For me, that's true to size, and this Bape Ultra Boost definitely fit me true to size, but for you, it might be something different. So if you've never tried on a pair of Ultra Boosts before, go down to your local sneaker store, try on a pair of Ultra Boosts, and make sure the sizing is right for you. Continuing back on the sneaker, you get to the classic matte black heel counter with the Adidas Ultra Boost text accented in gold, which I just think looks great. And then moving around to the back of the sneaker, you've got more of that Bathing Ape Prime Knit, and of course, your heel pull tab.
Changed compared to the Chicago ones that I previously reviewed. So in this case, the toe box is covered in what feels like a plastic mesh material, powder blue leather. The quality of this leather, to be honest, isn't the best, but it's not absolutely horrible either. You can see throughout the upper as well, it features contrast white stitching. There's this floppy and disconnected piece of leather on the bottom 3 eyelets on either side of the size Nike swoosh done in powder blue. Connecting the swoosh to the body of the shoe, we have this contrast orange stitching found on either side, and we also have this small rectangle of orange leather that's connected to the edge of the swoosh. Underneath the swoosh, we have that same mesh material that was found on the toe box. On the lateral side of the shoe, towards the back end, we have this off-white colored suede with powder blue contrasted stitching. Similar to the other off-white ones, these wings around the ankle collar area, these are disconnected from the rest of the shoe. On the lateral side, we have this Air Jordan branding done in white, and then as you take a look at the inside flap, here we have 85 in quotations in black. Flipping these over to the medial side, you can tell right away that this is different from the lateral side. So instead of this large Nike swoosh, we have an outline of a swoosh that's perforated out of this white leather. Printed on top, we have this off-white and Nike colored suede. At the very bottom, although to the naked eye this kind of looks identical to the powder blue leather right above, this is actually reinforced or lined with a much tougher material, giving it overall a much sturdier feel. The material found around this ankle collar area is white foam, and the top of this foam is unfinished. The standard laces on these UNC ones are flat style laces in white, and they have the shoelace branding in black at the edge. These do however come with 2 extra pairs of laces, so one in powder blue and one in orange. Underneath the laces we have a white nylon tongue with contrast powder blue stitching, and once again we have this Nike Air branding found on the lateral edge of the tongue. This is done in orange. Attached to the left shoe, once again we have this red zip tie, and it reads Off-White, care of Nike, circa 2018 zip tie. The inner liner of the shoe is lined in this powder blue fabric, and then taking a look at the insoles, so once again we have a white colored insole with these triangle patterns on the forefoot, and on the heel, this time instead of the Off-White 10 branding, we simply have Nike Air branding in black. The upper sits atop this foam midsole that's colored in like an off-white, slightly yellow shade. On the lateral side, underneath the heel, we have the word Air in quotations in black. This represents the fact that there's Nike Air technology found within the midsole. Turning these over to the bottom, so here we have your standard Air Jordan 1 outsole. This is entirely done in this powder blue color, and in the middle we have this Nike. So with all that said, now let me lace these up and show you guys how these look on feet. $5 here in Canada. The official colorway for this shoe is canvas, pale vanilla, black, and total orange. The trunk of this shoe is constructed using ballistic mesh, and this is visible around the toe box area. Found on the outer half of the toe box, we have this rubber toe cap, which is done in this canvas color, and this is done in the same color as the midsole. On the lateral side of the shoe, the majority of this is constructed out of ballistic mesh, and then glued on top, we have this oversized orange colored Nike swoosh. You'll see towards the back end of the swoosh on the lateral side only, we have this signature flap that's found on the other off-white Nike shoes. This time, instead of the signature orange color, this is done in green, which gives it a very nice contrast when compared to the orange. The panels found on the back end, this is constructed using a synthetic leather that honestly has a bit of a plasticky and cheaper feel to it. As I flip this over to the medial side, so you'll notice that this is different from the lateral side. So the portion that's closer to the front of the shoe, this is made out of suede, and then the remainder of the medial side is constructed out of leather. Once again, we have this oversized Nike swoosh in orange, and then we have the signature text that reads Off-White for Nike, Nike Blazer Mid, Beaverton, Oregon, USA. You might not be able to see this, but there are perforations on the text itself. This forms the shape of a swoosh, and this is outlining where the swoosh typically is on your normal blazers. And of course, this wouldn't be an off-white sneaker if it didn't have the signature zip tie. So this time the zip tie isn't red, instead it's done in this powder blue color. As we move on to the back of the shoe, so at the very top, we have the word Nike debossed into this suede, and then outlining this rectangle piece of suede, we have this unfinished foam, which is similar to the foam found on the tongue, which we'll touch upon later on in the review. You'll also notice that the bright orange swooshes connect to one another. And then underneath this, I'm not exactly sure what this material is. It sort of has like a fibery plastic feel to it. And then printed on top, we have some sort of serial number with the sizing information printed at the end. Running up the center area of the shoe, we have the eyelets, which are reinforced and covered with this suede. And then as for the laces themselves, so they're a flat style lace with the signature shoelaces branding on the edge. And these also come with a secondary pair of laces. This time they're done in green. For me, I was kind of hoping for a third set of laces, either in white or in orange. Underneath the laces, we have the tongue. So this is a mesh tongue that's padded inside with foam. At the very top of the tongue, we have this unfinished edge. We have this bright orange stitching crossing the width of the tongue, and then on the lateral edge we have this tag which has this Nike sportswear branding. So the inner liner of this shoe is done in the same tonal color as the rest of the upper. And then taking a look at the insoles, so these come with a canvas colored insole with the off-white logo and the 10 branding on the heel in black. As I flip these over to the bottom, so here we have your classic blazer outsole. This is entirely done in this one color, and it has this herringbone traction running throughout the length of the outsole. From a sizing standpoint, so blazers I find fit pretty true to size. However, if you do have really wide feet, you might want to consider going up a half size. These do kind of fit similar to Chuck Taylor's in the sense that they're a bit longer and narrow. But if you have narrow or even slightly wide feet, I think sticking true to size should be okay. So for me, my feet measures as a true size 10, only slightly on the wider side. I picked these up in a size 10 and they fit me pretty much perfectly. Comfort wise, so these are originally a shoe from the 1970s. The cushioning pretty much is non-existent, except for the added padding found on the insole. So with that said, I wouldn't say that these are that comfortable by any means, and I'd compare them similarly once again to the Converse Chuck Taylor All-Star. So with all that being said, now let me lace these up and I'll show you guys how these look on feet.
From the 10 icons, some might say the Presto was the best of that original 10, even better than the Air Jordan 1. There are arguments to that. The release of the two sequel colorways has been very, very much anticipated, and we're happy to show you an unboxing and an up-close look at one of the most anticipated sneaker releases of July. So these will indeed release on July 27th at Nike Sneakers and select retailers worldwide. These won't be as limited as the first one, but anything off-white is going to draw a huge crowd, so it's going to be really, really tough to lock down a pair. Expect raffles and IG giveaways or whatever. These won't be easy to get, so we're definitely going to hit you with a where to buy link soon, so make sure you check all the links below in the description just to get the best idea of how to cop this shoe. Just to get right to it, as you can see, it is the Air Presto. Some of the more interesting details that Virgil added to the shoe is, you know, the swoosh. The Air Presto never had a swoosh like this. You see the Air technology sort of printed on this heel strap that comes apart. And there's some Velcro enclosures. Signature cone orange little flap right on the swoosh. Slowly rotated to the medial side, and you can see the text, the off-white for Nike, with the Beaverton address printed on there as well. Here you have the black on black engineered mesh, and if you look closer, you see all these small and larger holes to kind of give it a unique look. Just moving over to the top, you see this tongue that has the exposed mesh that sort of adds to the whole deconstructed, unfinished sample floor kind of thing. And that actually reaches all the way around to the bottom of the tongue. So interesting little detail that made the Presto truly stand out from the rest. Just to show you the inside, you see the Off-White logo on the insole. And just flip that around, you have the classic Air Presto swoosh. We'll flip it over to this side. You have much of the same, but of course this has the red hang tag. This has been one of the more copied details by sneaker customizers and whatnot. Definitely a signature detail that made the Off-White Nike shoes such a standout when you wear them on foot. Whether you wear these with your shoes or not is totally up to you. It's an optional thing. This is the Nike Presto in black, white, and cone. It's dropping July 27th on Nike sneakers and select retailers worldwide. These will most definitely be very, very limited. As we said, you know, the Presto was considered the best of the original 10. Again, there are arguments to that, but this black-white colorway is almost as good as the original. If you like all black shoes, this is definitely for you. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. We hope you learned a little something about this upcoming release. Again, July 27th. Check out all the related links below to learn the most about this shoe as we near the release. We'll have a store list for you and everything. If there's anything else that you want to see specifically about the Off-White Presto in black and white, let us know in the comments and we'll do our best to answer your questions. Of course, hit that subscribe button and thanks for watching.
Whether it's just Yeezy fatigue or people just not being a fan of the colorway remains to be seen. But with all that said, let's jump straight into the shoe and I'll give you guys a closer look. So first off, starting at the toe box, so this base layer at the very bottom, this is constructed using this rough nylon which sort of has a canvas feel to it. Found at the very edge of the toe box, forming sort of like a U shape, we have this dark beige colored suede, and this is followed by this underlay of 3M right next to it. And then we also have this strip of 3M that holds the laces in place. Running up the center area of the shoe where the eyelets are, here we have this beige colored leather. This leather feels very nice and very luxurious. And then the second and third eyelet are also done in 3M as well. Running down the mid panel of the shoe, we have these horizontal stripes which are done in this dark gray color. And running along the very bottom of the length of the shoe, here we have this dark gray colored suede. Taking a look at the back end of the shoe, so at the very bottom we have more of that nylon which has that canvas feel to it. And then overlaid on top of this, we have both suede and 3M hits. In terms of laces, these come with an oval shaped beige colored lace. And then underneath this, we have this nylon padded tongue, which is also done in this beige color. As I pull out the insole, so these come with an Adidas, Yeezy, and Ortholite branded insole. And then at the very bottom, you can see there's additional padding in certain key areas to increase the comfort on this shoe. So the upper of these Yeezy Boost 700 V2s sits atop this gray colored midsole, which has these unique patterns that are carved out throughout the length of this foam. Underneath the back heel, we have these oval shaped cutouts, which is actually done in 3M as well. Encased within the foam, we have full length Boost 4 cushioning. Turning these over to the bottom, so here we have your outsole. So this is done in gum rubber and we have this herringbone traction pattern running from heel to toe. Running throughout the length of the outsole, we have these cutouts that So with all that out of the way, now let me put these on feet and I'll show you guys how these look.
What's going on, guys? You're watching Sneaker News on YouTube, and today we're taking a closer look at the CPFM Nike Vapor Max 2019. Before we take a dive deep into this collaboration, just do us a quick favor, hit that subscribe button, and let's get going. As you guys know, on Air Max Day 2019, even though there were no big sneaker releases on the actual day, Nike did unveil a number of collaborations on the 26th. There was these, of course, the Vapor Max 2019 by Cactus Plant Flea Market. Cactus Plant Flea Market, or CPFM as we're going to refer to them in this video, has been kind of seen an uptick of interest, mostly because of this Nike collaboration, but They have been around for a few years, so before we get into design, let's just quickly touch on what CPFM is. I guess you could say a luxury streetwear label, if that's the loose term to use these days. It started by Cynthia Liu. She used to be a Complex intern, but she worked over at BBC before starting her own line. I guess people really started to take notice once it got that, super valuable Kanye cosign. And since that Kanye cosign, which happened in around 2016, that's when CPFM really started to kind of gain a lot more attention. They've done a lot of very interesting things over the years, collaborations with Antisocial Social Club and whatnot. Now we're here in 2019 and they have the ever elusive Nike collaboration. Again, this is a Vapor Max 2019. It's a silhouette that dropped this year. It's just the next in line for the Vapor Max series. These do not have Flyknit though. Still a really comfortable shoe. Nike's done some interesting things so far, but this is by far the most interesting we've seen yet. What Cynthia's done is basically add some very unique appliques to the shoe. First, we have this sort of like enlarged exterior swoosh tubing. It traces over the natural swoosh line. Almost looks like it's Play-Doh or something like that, but it's more like this rubbery plastic kind of material, and it's like tied down by these threads that go through the upper, go all the way around. This wasn't really revealed in the images that Nike released on March 26th, but some on-foot looks revealed some pretty interesting things. Of course, it's this enlarged Just Do It font that is pretty common in the CPFM apparel. And if you look towards the heel, it has her double-eyed smiley face in place of the O's. This is the right shoe, and it's like a darker gray kind of color. And if we'll show you the other shoe, you'll notice a few different things. There's sort of a mirror image treatment to it. This upper is like a darker green. And now the Just Do It is not only in black, but it's on the lateral side of the left shoes. So that swoosh that you've seen is now on the medial sides. If we're just gonna show it to you like these, you'll see what we mean. Like on the insides, it's the Just Do It and the swoosh. If you look on the outside, it's the same opposite sort of alternating detailing. See the Just Do It right there. The right shoe is in white, the left shoe in black. And of course, the right shoe has a black upper. The left shoe has that translucent green upper. Other side, you see the green swoosh. The detail on these is pretty amazing. We've never seen a shoe collaboration like this imaginative. It speaks to that whole DIY, deconstructed sort of nature, almost like as the parts were just added onto a base model, which is pretty much what happened with this shoe. Even look on the insole, you see the left and the right has different insoles with colors based on heat maps, it looks like. Quick shot of that Vapor Max sole, and you see that there's a nice gradient. It starts from like a translucent green that shifts into a red at the toe. Another interesting thing is that even the tongue has this classic Nike logo, so lots of new, lots of old infused into this design. Definitely one of the funkier releases we've seen so far. So you did see on Instagram that Cactus Plant did make a limited run of a pair that actually lights up. They added these light trims that trace around the Vapor Max sole, and you saw photos of them being plugged in. Those are not the retail version. Those are made just for friends and family, and this is the retail version. One final detail is that shoelaces are these very thick rope laces, and there's two options. This one's looks like a brown and a yellow, and this is like a black and a white or like a light gray. Quick shot of the shoebox. You got the Nike Sportswear Black slide out box. Nice little detailing of the CPFM Air Sunshine. Here's a quick shot of the box label just so you have an idea of what it looks like. There is unisex sizing on it, so men or women will definitely be wanting to cop. Inside the shoebox, we have the Just Do It paper with the same detailing that you see on the shoes. It's like a golden sort of yellow tint with the Just Do It with a smiley face. That's pretty much it. That's the CPFM Nike Vapor Max 2019. It's releasing on May 14th for $250. It's a very limited release. The hype on these are very real. Right now, the resale prices are beyond $1,000. So check the links below if you want to know exactly when and where they're going to drop. We do have an official store list. Be sure to check back regularly because we will update them with the direct links to either the raffles or online pages. We hope you enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you saw, and we'll see you on the next one.